Dogecoin is just it's like that Nine Inch Nails song, a copy of a copy of a copy. Yeah, it's just a copy of a copy. It's Bitcoin gave Litecoin, Litecoin gave Dogecoin. And it was kind of a parody cryptocurrency. And I think Jackson was trying to do it to like prove a point about altcoins. And then true to form, it's like nobody got the doctrine and completely perverted the entire religion. It's almost like the Emperor of Man and Warhammer 40K. It was like this atheist, don't worship me. And now there's like this whole religion built around the Emperor. So Dogecoin has become a thing, and it's become such a large thing that it is a reasonable target for somebody to fix it up and repair it, make it an interesting cryptocurrency. The point of the video was to show what a modern third generation cryptocurrency really would require. It's a major overhaul, and there are already people doing this. You know, there's the Solanas and the Harmony Ones and the Cardanos, Neoses, and all these other guys, and they have billions of dollars and huge dev teams and all these innovative protocols. If you're really serious about this thing sticking around, being useful and doing stuff, then the point of the video was to show the types of things you'd have to think about and the types of papers that are all open source, patent free, and don't have any notion of intellectual property behind them that his engineers could grab and go and do. Mm-hmm. And he did mention on Twitter that he was looking for feedback on how to improve Doge. And so I said, all right, well, I'll just put all these things together. It was a little tongue in cheek because I figured he'd ignore it. But it was also showing how hard it is to innovate in this entire space. You know, you don't just go and say, I'm got to go build a battery-powered car or rocket or enter a new industry. It's really hard to do that. You spend years and lots of effort. You have to do a series of small learning steps. You have to pick up destroyed rockets on the side of the beach and things like that before you get to the rocket landing itself. Well, analogously, it's really hard to build a cryptocurrency. Satoshi probably spent years thinking carefully, and that work was a derivative of 30 years of work in the digital asset space starting in the 1980s. Working its way through. So, and then Bitcoin only did very limited things relative to what Ethereum can do or Cardano can do and so forth. So the minute that you extend that complexity, you're talking about years of R&D, years of engineering effort that needs to be done. So what's the point of Doge? Is it just a meme? Is it actually contending to be useful? Or is it competing as a store of value against Bitcoin? Now, if it's competing as a store of value against Bitcoin, why the hell does it have the monetary policy it does? Also, there's predatory distribution of the underlying asset. And over 90% is consolidated, less than 1% of the holders at a very, very low price point. So they can sell at almost any price point and make a profit. So, you know, it hits 50 cents, they're billionaires. And it's not like 20,000 people. It's probably less than 100 wallets that have that distribution. So there's this existential ticking time bomb that's in Doge that once the guys who are vested start selling, they can just keep selling and ride it all the way down and make windfall profits regardless of what price they sell at. And who are they selling against? The retail investors. You know, people make $500 spare money a month or something like that. And it bothers me because I see it in my community. So I live in Longmont out in Colorado, and I was at a restaurant and I was talking to the waitress and she asked me what business I was in. I said, I'm in the cryptocurrency space. And she's like, what is that? And I started explaining all of it. And she says, oh, yeah, I own some Dogecoin. I said, you own anything else? No, I just bought some Doge. Why did you buy Doge? Oh, I saw Elon tweeting about it, and I thought it was a good deal. You know, so when you see stuff like that, where people have no clue what they're doing, they don't really understand the supply dynamics, the ownership dynamics, and these types of things. And then when the clock stops, you know, they're the ones who get hurt. And then the regulator comes in, the Elizabeth Warrens of the world, and they say, see, this is an evidence these guys can't regulate themselves, control themselves. We need to control everything. Either let's ban it or let's just announce that the only three are legitimate and you know, every one of them has to be connected to identity and rah, rah, rah. And I'm just very concerned that that's a bad thing to do. And that's why I've been so vocal about this topic. And my hope is that a compromise can be made where real developers come in and they start working on Doge and they find a way to create some sort of use and utility for it. So at least it has a value floor. And, you know, it won't collapse. Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. You know, I'm not adverse to the idea of cleaning up the code base, but legitimately whoever comes in, be 2 years or 3 years of work, you know, because you have to do real stuff. And that code is like Litecoin circa 2012. So reusability is like a fundamental thing that if you solve that, you've now opened space up to a complete new class of commercialization. I don't see the problem in Dogecoin because if he was looking for it, then why not look at a real platform actually trying to solve a real problem? There's so many of them. He could throw a rock, he can hit 15 of these guys, and they'd all die to work with Elon Musk. There's the loyalty. The EV4 guys, or whatever it was with GM, they didn't want to give them back when they had the lease program. Well, it's a neuroscience thing. We like dopamine. We like these chemicals in our brain, and when we have fun, we want more of it. So you tend to gravitate towards work activities and play activities that are enjoyable to you. And it is nice sometimes to kind of come in and troll an entire industry. And I can imagine he's probably having the time of his life. It's the same as like taking Tesla private at 420. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's one thing when you do it with friends. It's another thing when you do it with the whole industry and it hurts people financially. And also I understand he hates short sellers, and there's some things there. And I can't speak for him because I only know the guy from a distance. It's just I live in this space and I have to deal with the consequences. I'm the guy who has to put on a suit and go to Washington and go and sit in a Senate inquiry and all this stuff. And he's the guy that, just like laugh with his friends about how he crashed the crypto market and how easy it was to do it. And that's my only umbrage about this. On the other hand, if it brings a lot of cool, new, interesting things and people into the space, that's a net positive. And so, it's not universally bad or universally good. And I'd like to give people the benefit of the doubt. And so I'm really hopeful to see what comes about this recent surge of interest. And if Elon actually puts his money where his mouth is and takes some of his enormous engineering talent and, capital and starts contributing and building something in the cryptocurrency space. It'd be really cool to see that happen.